Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Panel. I'm here with Dutchie tonight. How you doing, Dutch Skywalker?
Hello. How you
Hello.
guys doing now?
So tonight I am still smoking some cereal milk, but I'm also sipping some tea, some ginger tea, soothe my throat because I've been talking a lot today. How have you been, Dutch?
I'm fine. What the hell is cereal milk? Can you inform us what that is exactly?
Okay, so cereal milk is a hybrid, and I'll show you the picture that I pulled up earlier from Leafly. Ooh, I changed
Okay.
my password, so who knows if I can get in anymore, right?
Okay.
So cereal milk is a strain, and hold up, REAL milk, boom, boom, boom. Looks like this. Oop, I done went too high. See, cereal milk. Yay, y'all! And it makes you giggly, relaxed, aroused. I love it because it does have a vanilla and a sweet taste to it. So yeah, it's real smooth going down. You know how some vapes give you a little harshness at the back of your throat. This one is nice and
Mm,
smooth all the way around. So that's why
yeah.
I'm happy with it. Yeah, man. So
Okay.
yeah, it's actually a very good strain. So I'm enjoying every bit of it. So look, man, I was doing some reading earlier today, and I had read about this young man, Elijah Jordan Brown Garcia, who died following no contact football practice. He was 12 years old in the sixth grade, uh, and they don't really know, if it was heat exhaustion or what wound up happening, but he was dead on arrival to the hospital. It's some scary stuff out there, and it was no contact. You know what I mean? After DeMar Hamlin went down, we were concerned because, that obviously is professional football and that was contact, but no contact. It's almost like we don't want kids playing sports at all. Isn't that crazy?
No contact.
No contact.
That,
No contact
that
football.
that's different. That
Yeah.
is wow.
Yeah. 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 And
Okay.
then you were telling me about another young man that was injured by the police, right? Or was he
Oh,
killed?
he was shot and killed. He was 13 years old. 13-year-old Hispanic child was with some friends and they were stealing cars. So this young man had stolen a car in San Antonio, Texas, and I believe they were trying to be apprehended by the police. The police were in pursuit of them and the stolen vehicle, and I guess he either rammed into the cop car or ran into that or something else. One way or another, there was a little bit of a collision, and the cops actually, this particular cop, drew down and shot and killed him.
Mm.
This was last year. The news is resurfacing again because there were no criminal charges filed against the police officers that did this. So you kind of have a split opinion about what's going on amongst the uh, people that feel like, well, shit, he was stealing, and the cops had no way of knowing how old he was. Um, and then you have, which some people feel like it was excessive, and then you have some that feel like, you know, hey, they're kids, they're joyriding, you know, this
Kids
shit
will
is
be
not,
kids.
yeah, this is not a new thing. Kids, which is true, kids have been known to steal vehicles and go
Yeah.
joyriding, and back in the day, you never really heard about anybody getting shot behind it.
No,
Um,
no.
so so that is kind of heavy. Shot a 13-year-old shot and killed um behind a joyride. So which one is it? So you have on one hand, hey, the people that are working hard for their vehicles and that are busting their ass, and you don't know what their dollar amount
Looks
is
like
in their
it.
accounts. Yeah, or what they had to do to have gas or even have the vehicle, and
Yeah.
then it's stolen.
And that vehicle could be the difference between you getting to work and not, and you losing your job or not. You know what I mean?
Or whoever you have to take care of. And then on the other hand, you have, shit. He's one of many, 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 many kids. Because all of us at some point when we were a kid knows a kid that stole a vehicle and so forth, and that's why they have insurance and whatnot. So you just have to decide on,
Yeah.
you know,
I think,
the
I
right
think,
and wrong of this.
so Established makes a good point. What's up, Established? Thanks for joining us tonight. It's a tough cause once you push the gas after they pull you over, the car is considered a dangerous weapon. I get what he's
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for us, people of color, because there was a similar incident, and I didn't bring this up earlier, but I just thought about it. There was a similar incident where this young kid was supposedly, allegedly breaking into somebody's house in DC, and the man shot the child and killed the child, and the child was also 13 years old. It was a black child. So we've got the Hispanic children and the African American children, and unfortunately, people are saying that they look older than they really are. You know what I mean? So, like when you look at a Hispanic or African American child, that child may only be 13, but these people, like cops and Caucasians, in their mind, seem to see them as being much older. So, you've got now in their minds a 22-year-old child or a 22-year-old person versus a 13-year-old child. So, that's that perception right there that needs to be corrected right off the bat, right? The other
Well, no
part
offense,
is
but we're not the ones that age like milk.
we
Not
are not
calling
the
any
ones
names.
that age. I mean,
Not
we're gonna
calling any
call a
names.
spade a spade. But yeah, we don't age that poorly, but they see us as a threat at earlier ages. That's just that's how they're
Yeah.
psychologically built. And there have been studies out there that say that when they see black kids, they see them as way older than they typically are. And that's what happened to Tamir Rice, right? So after that happened, after those cops shot that 12-year-old boy with that play gun, they did a study to see what these cops see us as, and they see us as much older. The argument for what you're saying, was it just joyriding or was it a kid stealing a car? I think it's also based on the color of your skin, because if he was white, he probably wouldn't be dead. Let's
Well,
just
if he was white,
let's just
if he was a white kid, he would just be joyriding.
he would
That's
just
the
be
difference.
joyriding. That's the
It
big
was,
difference, right? As a black
boys are
kid
being
or
boys,
Latino
and they're
kid,
white children.
but when they're black or Latino, and it even comes when it's like when it deals with sexual assault too, right? Because like you'll watch like these college shows and things like that, and you'll watch how colleges react. And typically, if it's a white kid, they get a lot more leeway, and boys will be boys. Black kids, scholarship gone, kicked off the
They're
team.
taking
They're
everything.
already guilty until proven innocent. The other way
Well,
for the kids,
well,
innocent until
for the
proven guilty.
most part, unless your name is Karl Malone, but I ain't gonna
Mm.
touch that.
Well, well, I mean, how many? Let's keep it a buck though. Like, well, no, I ain't even gonna say nothing about Karl Malone.
Just stop, cause look, cause we gonna be wrong no matter what we say,
We
no
gonna be
matter how
real
we think.
wrong.
We
We
gonna
gonna
be
be
really
fucked up,
fucking wrong.
no
But
matter what we say. But
yeah,
yeah, they gotta change that mindset, because when we look at and unfortunately, like when I look at white kids, sometimes I see them as older than what they really
yeah,
are. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I look at them and they just age differently. And
they
it's not
do.
fair either way. It's not fair either way. I know a little girl is a little girl, and I can tell a little girl whether she's black, Latino, Asian, or Caucasian. You know what I mean? And any other race that's out there, or the mixes, or the blends, or But I can tell a little girl, no matter what race she is. I don't understand why they can't determine a little girl or a little boy, no matter what race they are.
Well, that was the same thing that they were saying about the 13-year-old Hispanic boy, and the question was raised for the people that actually did look at the video. The question was raised, like, what children are they looking at? Because this little boy looks like a little boy,
Yeah.
unmistakably looks like a child. Um, but again, when you look at the Jeffrey Dahmer, if anybody did actually watch that,
Oh
the same
yeah.
thing happened. It was the
Yeah.
same thing that happened, and
And
they
it
and
was
the
an
lady's
Asian
argument
boy.
was,
Yeah.
how could you not see that that's a child? So again, non persons of color do not view persons of color, and I want to make sure, because I think a lot of times when we say people of color, everybody assumes that we mean people that are a darker melanated tone of
No,
African descent. No,
no.
we mean Hispanic,
Asians
we
are in
mean
there as well.
Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Everybody's in there.
yeah, I believe that boy was from the Philippines, or his origin was
He
a
was, and I
Filipino.
forget his name. Oh my God. I want to
Yeah,
say Louis or something like that, but that poor child.
yeah. So he was one of the ones that could have been saved, but because the cops refused to look at him in the age appropriate light that he was in. So more times than not, I think a lot of our young boys, our young males, of color, of all colors, that are persons of color all kind of have that issue of being looked and valued at where they really stand.
Mm.
So there is a notion of your humanity being deleted if you are not a non-person of color. That seems to delete your human rights and delete your humanity and delete your kid being a kid, because your kid's going to get shot, not mine. Meaning, if I was white, you know,
And that's unfortunate. And
and
it
it's
really,
very unfortunate.
yeah, yeah. And until we start to have this conversation out loud with other people and bring everybody into the conversation, we're still going to be suffering from this issue because they're never going to
Yeah.
see our kids as actual children. They're going to see them as grown-ups that should have jobs, which is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. So,
And honestly, and it's been like that for a very long time.
oh yeah.
Even before we were even thought about, young people of color have always been looked at as. Emmett Till was tried as an adult. He was looked at as an adult. A young 14-year-old male was looked at as an adult. A lot of these young boys are treated as grown ass men. There's so it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed at all. This is
No.
just another prime example of uh, the way they see us as adults already is the same way the doctors see us as being able to have a higher threshold of pain,
Yes.
uh, which has been another proven fact.
And we talked
They,
about that earlier today. And you're right. Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah,
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 yeah. And we talked about studies where, like, people were having children, and one lady lost her child just based on
yeah,
the fact that the doctors just didn't listen. They didn't hear what she was
yeah,
saying, they didn't pay
yeah,
attention to what she was saying. And she was
yeah.
saying it clear as day. I mean, she was saying it in plain fucking English, but
Mm,
the way they were interpreting it, they were adding their own ad lib to it, and they were creating a whole different scenario that wasn't the case. And so,
right.
yeah, yeah, unfortunate, unfortunate. Yeah, that poor child and those poor children. All right, so let's talk about this young man. Well, he's not young anymore. He was young when he went in. So he was 17 years old, right? And he went to jail in Maryland for murder, and he's done 3 decades already. And so he's did 27 years, and they found out he's not guilty. So they're now about to release him for a murder that he did not commit after serving 27 years.
He's one of
Yeah.
many.
Huh?
There was another man. He's one of many. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, this year alone, there have been several males that have been released from prison for crimes that they didn't commit. As a matter of fact, within less than 90 days ago, one guy that was released for a murder that he didn't commit was killed right after he got out. Black guy.
Wow.
This was
Wow.
I forgot in this story in, and I wish that I had it, and I'll go back and I'll look it up to come back and share again. But there was another gentleman who recently was released for a crime he did not commit. He had served about 2 decades,
Mm, mm, mm.
and he was. I don't think he was out for maybe a few days, if a few weeks, and he
Few
was
days,
murdered.
few weeks. Jeez Louise. Well, the sad part about all of this is, one, after they get out of jail, like, their whole lives are gone, right? Like, the prime of your life is already shit gone. And then
Yeah,
they hand you a couple of $1 million and think that you can get that's going to appease you. I mean, and for the people that are yelling for the death penalty, and it depends on the crime for me. Um, but for those of us yelling for the death penalty, now we have to take a step back and look and really consider if that's what we want, because now we're finding out, like, a lot of these people that have been convicted of crimes are innocent.
but we've always known that. I
Well, we've
mean,
known
I
that
feel
from an
like,
African American standpoint for sure.
yeah, because I was gonna
And
say there
Latino.
was like the whole DNA testing shit when all that false DNA, and the lady, it was like a couple years ago, and it came out that that lady had falsified all that DNA and all the cases and shit. you know, um, this has gone on for, I think, since the beginning of time. We thought DNA would help us, but DNA was not our friend, because
Mm-mm.
even that was able to be finagled and able to be altered, where we still had some brothers that were serving time for shit they didn't commit.
Yeah.
Um, there's an unsurmounted amount of rapes um, that were never committed just because, and I ain't gonna say what I want to say, but because one of them or they said that it happened.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
that's not to take away from the actual victims that were sexually assaulted, but we're talking about people that are serving time that didn't commit a crime.
That did not commit
Um,
those crimes. So it's
so
almost
we
like we have to wipe the slates clean. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's almost like we got
no
to
no no
wipe
no
the slates clean and
yeah.
test everybody, retest everybody's shit, especially for rapes and murders. I mean, those crimes, people should not be locked up for the rest of their lives for crimes that they did not commit. And it's sad because we're moving very slow as a system. The trickle down effect is, one here, one there. We may get what 10, 15 in a year, but there are hundreds of people behind bars that should not be there.
Well, let me ask you a
Hundreds of
question.
thousands. Shoot.
And I'm going to ask this question as a woman of color, not as a
Okay.
woman,
All right.
specifically as a woman of color. Should a white man be allowed to pass down time to a black man more than what he'll ever live in his own lifetime? Now, let me rephrase what I'm asking. Should you be allowed to give somebody 200 years or 100 years and you yourself will never live to see that amount of time? Can one human give another human an amount of time that they themselves will never live to see?
I mean, so yes, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
They kind of want to make sure that your life expectancy runs out while you're in jail. So, like a person like Jeffrey Dahmer, like heads in the fridge, and I'm not even talking specifically about a person of color receiving this.
But that's the thing though. We even systematically we would like to be able to compare ourselves to the likes of Jeffrey Dahmer when it comes to heinous crimes, but we're not going to get the same
Oh,
fair
we're never
trial.
going to get the
We're
same.
not going to get the same treatment.
No, we're not. We're never going to get the same treatment until we have more people like us on the bench.
And I guess that's why I'm asking that question. I'm not asking in a sense of, I mean, because that's all it means. If you rape, kill,
Yeah,
hurt children,
you should never get out and
lock their
yeah.
asses up. I don't give a damn what color you are. But I am saying, as a woman of color, it's always been an unlevel playing field when a man can give another man time, uh, take time from the rest of his life that man will never see. Me never being able to see 160 years in my lifetime, but I can sentence you to those same 160 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, it sounds fair until we start looking at systematically how we do not have the same punishments.
Well,
We
if
do
the
not.
punishment were the same,
Yeah,
let's
if the
say
punishment were the same, then of
so. If
course.
the punishment were the same in the way that this democracy is supposed to run, in the
Yeah,
way that they claim it's supposed to be, like their words say one thing and the actions say another. The words
yeah,
say that it's supposed to be equal across the board. The action is actually that it's very different, right? And so, with that being said, I mean, I understand how, from a victim standpoint, if I were a victim, right, and let's say that there was a serial killer and he killed 10 people, well, I'd want my 20 years up in that bitch too. Yeah, I need you to be convicted of my crime as well as Sharita's crime, as well as Kiki's crime, as well as Maria's crime, as well as all these other, you know what I mean? So from a
yeah.
victim standpoint, I want my pound of flesh. But from what you're saying, yeah, until we're equal, I mean, no, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. Now, does that mean that? And so then we start to think about, like, we had a conversation about segregation, right? A while back. Does that mean that, like, our judges should be dealing with our people? And, like, because when they say a jury or your peers, it's never a jury of us. I
No.
have been
And so I do think then, yes, I think that is when the jury of your peers should come into play, because this is why segregation is, some people might say that this shit sounds like it's a setback, but no. Um,
I prefer segregation, if I'm being honest.
absolutely. So here's why I say this. If a white male, and the benefit of being Caucasian, is has committed heinous crimes or shot up a school or some shit like that, or has killed somebody of color. Um, we do not feel like they will be approached systematically the same way that one of ours would, right?
If
So
we
if
did
they
the
were,
opposite, so if we killed one of theirs, it's not going. It's the book is definitely getting thrown.
well, here's the thing. If that male was in front of a jury of black people or people of color and there was a black judge, we cannot guarantee that they would have a fair trial. We absolutely, under the climate that we have now,
No, we
I don't
can't.
care how much I don't care how much people try
We
to act
can't.
like they're goody goody and they're all about fairness. In the
Uh-uh.
climate that we are in right now, we
No.
cannot guarantee that we would give you a fair trial. And that's
And
just
the
racist
sad
of
part
us.
about it is, like, and we were having a conversation another time about how the black cops seem to be harder on us than the Caucasian cops at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
So
rather deal with a Caucasian male than I would a female or a black cop. And that's just me being a buck right now. And I have nothing against black cops, but I got to tell you, y'all like throwing the book at a motherfucker. There
all
are
right,
no
so
bending of rules.
story time. Let me give you a little story time. This is something that actually happened to me up at Fort Eustis. So I'm coming on base and my car smells like dank, right? There's nothing in my car. It just smelled like that. Because wherever I was coming from, i.e. your house.
Wow. Why you got to put me
Yeah,
out there?
so I don't know. I don't remember what day this was, but it was just one of those kick it days. And I guess, shit, my car was a little loud.
Okay.
But again, I had nothing in my car. It just so happened that it was
Excuse me.
where I was, and I still had the aroma. So I'm coming on base, and I get stopped. Now I get stopped about a tail light. Okay, now it's two white cops and a Hispanic cop,
Uh-oh.
right? For all y'all that are listening, the Skywalker's last name is Gomez. All right, my
I was
last
going to
name.
say, the Hispanic
Don't.
cop went into your ass.
So let me be clear about what my last name is. My last name is Gomez. Okay, that's all you need to know about me is that. You can figure out the rest on your own. Now, so I get pulled. I've got how do I say this? I've got a male scale in my car, a thing to scale to where you're male. you
You
call
got.
y'all call it a weed scale. I call it something for my male.
I call it the kitchen scale.
Yeah. So
So
I
you got
have
a
one of
scale.
those in my car.
You've been
So
weighing your jewelry, girl. You was weighing your
girl,
dime.
I was weighing mail with that shit. So
Mm-hmm.
listen, um, the white guy walks up and he's like, I know he could smell this. I mean, this shit is louder than a hooker and a porta potty dog with two other Johns. I'm telling you, it
It
was
must have been
loud.
your clothes if you was leaving my house. It had to have been your clothes.
It
And
was
your
my
clothes.
clothes.
Yeah.
It was my clothes. It was my
Okay.
clothes were super loud
Okay.
because I wasn't going back on base with the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the white guy, he was super nice and he asked me, he was like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And can I search your vehicle? Now, at this point, I don't give a shit because I know I don't got shit on me. And
Yeah.
you're just going off of a smell. So now he's like, he wants to give me. So I ended up doing the whole touch your nose shit. Mind you,
Wow.
I don't drink and drive. I really don't. I don't drink and drive. I don't believe in it. It's not my thing. It's never been my thing.
It's
So I
against
didn't
our
have a problem.
rules.
Yeah. So I had to do a sobriety test. Now, at the time, my spouse was at home about a few yards from where I got pulled over, but extremely intoxicated. So he had to, I'm calling, because
Because
now
you're
there's a
nervous.
full,
I get it.
well, not only am I nervous, but the Hispanic dude is being a whole fucking dick. He's being an asshole. He's being worse than the fucking two white guys.
Yeah,
So
I
the
tell
two
you, once
white
they
guys,
find out, so it's like with us. Once they realize you family, then they fuck with you.
yeah, let me tell you. The white cops were like, okay, I passed a sobriety test. There was nothing in the car. So he finds the scale and goes, well, what's this for? And I go, it's for my mail.
Yeah.
I weigh my mail. A fucking white guy, he kind of chuckles to himself. It's like at this point, just fucking let her go already, you know.
Yeah, like it's
And
over.
yeah, because I was sober. There was nothing, and no matter what you smell, you can smell all the fuck you want to.
Yeah, but
First of
you
all,
can't
no
if you
warrants,
ain't got
tight
nothing
insurance,
else.
bitch. Right? No warrants. I got some tight ass insurance. Y'all can leave me the fuck alone, right? And there's nothing in my car. You can smell. I don't give a fuck if it smelled like goddamn cyanide in this bitch. It ain't none in here. You understand? It could
Uh-huh.
smell like I'm 16 bitches selling pussy, but it ain't none in here. So you be mad at whatever fuck you want to. It ain't shit in my car.
For real.
So because there's nothing in the car, I could see the Hispanic cop. What y'all call Oreo, we call coconuts, right? Same
So
thing.
you got a
Black
coconut.
on the outside, white on the inside. When it's a coconut, it's brown on the outside, white on it. It's a Caribbean thing, right? So this coconut ass fucking guy is being a real asshole. And then so finally, uh my spouse walks up at the time and he's like pulling rank on this dude because this guy was like, so then the guy kind of straightens up and then the white guys confer with him and I can hear them like both of the white guys super nice. We're
Yeah,
like,
like
hey, no big deal. And so I guess my husband at the time had to, hey, you know,
yeah.
uh like what the fuck got his name and like why was this necessary? Because he was going above and beyond shit that wasn't even in his fucking job criteria. So now I'm really nervous because even if you don't have shit on you, you haven't done shit, you know,
I'm just throwing up comments. We're gonna get back to him. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
American Cholo.
Said that
What the
coconut.
fuck?
Frank Lewis,
Okay, so
the
a Cholo is a dude, and that's the Mexican term. But we'll get back to that. So yeah,
well,
that's
he's an
that's it.
American Mexican. He says American Mexican said that coconut. Yeah. Or were they talking about you? You're not Mexican.
That's what that's what I was like, what?
Maybe it was the last name. I don't know. Keep going.
We need punctuation in this bitch. So, but yeah. So yeah, motherfucker was basically, so this is basically what was going on. And you could be innocent, you could not be doing shit, but you're still gonna feel like um gonna feel nervous. You're gonna feel like, fuck. So we talked about it after, I went on about my business, but we were talking about like, God damn, how in the fuck did I get two white motherfuckers
that were cool as shit.
but spoke with me with respect? It wasn't the interaction I was expecting.
Yeah.
You understand? It wasn't the interaction I was expecting. And I definitely wasn't expecting Senor Coco to fucking treat me like,
He was
you know,
shit on the bottom of his shoe.
yeah. So yeah, I have to say from my own personal experience, yeah, I've definitely experienced a motherfucker like treating me differently, and we're of the same brethren,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh
Or
yeah.
same family. Motherfucker, we were on the same boat, bitch. I seen you get off the boat with me. What the fuck?
He like, I got off first. He got off after, but he still
I
feel
got
like he
off in
got
Spain. I got off in Spain. Shit. The
you
fuck?
still got on the boat, man. Yeah. The same thing for us, man. It's the same way, bro. It's the same way. I need you to calm down, bro. I need you to pipe back down. Because unfortunately, if you were out of uniform and you were driving, they would, yeah, another one of you would treat you like you. So
Yeah. Yeah.
let's just go
So
back to it.
what the fuck?
Yeah, for
Okay.
real, for real.
I've also got pulled over by a black female cop when I was a lot younger. And she was you ever seen Norbit?
They usually mean.
No, but have you ever seen the movie Norbit?
Yeah, I have. Don't say she looked like Rasputia.
No.
Come
Do you remember when Norbit used to fuck Rasputia used to fuck with Norbit all the time. And
yeah.
so one day Norbit was like, bitch. Hey,
That's what you said?
Bitch. That lady was so fucking mean, dog. Listen.
The female ones be the worst, man. And I don't even think it matters what race they are.
Bitch. Oh my God, she was rude as fuck. She was
rude. I
rude.
don't think it matters what race they are. The females are just mad. They mad because they got to get out there and do that shit, I guess. I don't fucking know.
Some of them are assholes. Like the bitches from Broward County. They had a whole show about them, but that's because women have a thing we gotta prove. We gotta prove that we don't.
It's like the Napoleon complex, right? I gotta prove that I'm bad enough to be here. Sister, you ain't got
Yeah,
to come at me like that, man. We can be friends.
I don't
And I
take no
still
shit
take the
either.
ticket, but you ain't got to be a rude bitch about it.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie though. This is when there's self-awareness. I'll probably be a swaggy ass cop too. I'll probably have a little swag. You better not say no off the wall shit to me.
No, no,
I
don't say
might,
no stupid shit. Show respect. But like,
yeah.
you ain't got to wake up like you on your period every day.
I don't think I would make a good cop. I would make a good cop, but I wouldn't make a good cop.
Well, there's certain
Uh,
jobs I know I couldn't do. I couldn't be a teacher. I can
I
take
can
too much
cop.
shit out because you're not gonna spit on me and do no crazy shit. And I'm a peace officer, and you expect me not to choke the shit out of you. See, I would probably be on one of them cops that's getting indicted right now for some bullshit because somebody been
I
they kicked me
definitely
or
would
did
be
some
indicted for some shit.
because
So this
they
is why
kicked
I
me or
say,
done some dumb shit. So I had to whoop
if
your
there
ass.
were more
I
people
couldn't do
like us, more people like myself that could openly admit that they would be shitty at a certain job, I would make a shitty cop. Here's some honesty for your ass. I would be biased as fuck.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck about your weed. I'm probably gonna let you go, or I might give it to my little cousin or some shit. You know,
I'm gonna take your shit because I may need it for later. If I'm being honest,
I'm definitely taking your shit. There,
shouldn't have rolled up on me with it.
I'm a woman, and that's not to speak to for all women, but I'm moody as fuck. And you might be that one day that bro, it ain't your ass might want to pull the fuck over today because I'm just not in the mood. So I want you to think about that. Everything that I just said, that's all facts of being a human.
And a
How many
female.
motherfuckers do you think are going? There's a lot of motherfuckers that are like that have these jobs anyway. That
Yeah,
did
there's a lot of
did
motherfuckers that are teachers. Like I know I
yeah.
can be a teacher because I'm gonna choke the shit out your kid. That little motherfucker come up in there disrespectful, I'm gonna choke slam that little motherfucker. So don't send them to my class.
I am definitely a girl, fuck them kids kind of person. So that I don't need to be nobody's school teacher. I could teach.
Right there in the throat. Boom. No.
Yeah, chop your little ass right in the throat. And the fucked up thing is kids love me. So, but I do think that when people realize, if you're honest with yourself, there are certain jobs that you can and you can't do. I
Yeah,
would not make a good cop.
I
That is
wouldn't.
my honesty. That is my truth. I know that I would be biased.
Yeah.
Uh, I know I'm also from uh, a southern state, or I was raised in a southern state. You know what I mean? So you talk about the Caribbean and then the South. Um, my upbringing entirely, I would
Wait, wait,
definitely
wait.
be.
So you've already released your state here. You've already told us where you're from. And your state is
Yeah,
not just the southern state, it is that southern state.
the great state of Texas, southern
I,
state.
it
Let's
is
be clear,
that state.
that state. And that's why I say by way of the
They had their
Caribbean. You know what
own
I mean?
cops, like the Texas Rangers was their own shit. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they had their
yeah.
own. So I can see her walking
We're
around with some
fucked up,
spurs
bro.
on the bottom of her boots, and
Texas
some
is
fucking
fucked up. Listen,
chaps.
we are fucked up out there. And that's why I will always speak on Texas issues because I know how fucked up it is. Um, Again, talking about cops that treat like skin tone people the same. In Texas, you will get pulled over, and I'm speaking now. Let me speak as somebody. I'm not uh, a Mexican. However, I come from a large. We do have Mexicans in our family. I do come from a large
Who
Hispanic
doesn't?
family.
If we're doing the truth, like who doesn't have somebody from Central America in their family if they live in this country?
Right. So my family. So for y'all that wonder what we are, my family is made up of Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, and Mexicans of the African of the African descent. Right. So here's what I've noticed living in Texas. I've noticed that I've seen a lot of people get pulled over. A lot of people have to go in front of the judge. And the very person that you think is pulling you over that has super white ass skin, being a whole asshole to you, you think it's a white guy. You go in front of the judge, and this motherfucker being a total asshole to you until you realize his last name is Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
Gomez.
Wait.
Sanchez.
I'm about to put up what established said.
That's a
They
fact
do.
what he just said. Yeah,
They
absolute
do.
fact.
We know. I grew up in Cali,
So
so
that's
I
gonna bring me.
definitely know shit.
Yeah, so that's gonna bring me to the point of what I'm about to make. He's very, very right about this. Um, these people that are running the judicial system in the state of Texas are not predominantly Caucasian like you would think. They are Chicanos. with are Mexican Americans, and
But
most
they
of
trying
them
to
are
keep the other
proud.
Mexicans, which is some bullshit to me.
Most of them are very proud Chicanos. Chicano means, that's why I was laughing at what he said, Chicano and Chicana. So Chicano means male, Chicana female, but the Mexican population of very proud Mexican Americans are Chicanos, and they do not like to be associated with what we call mojados. I mean, the can I say that on the air? Can I say what mojada means, or like a mojado?
Nah, shit.
If your back's a little not dry, okay, that's what
A
that
damp,
means.
a damp back.
Yeah, yeah. That
Just like
I hit the
Niger
red.
for
I need to hit the fucking red button on you.
just like Niger for us.
Yeah. So that being said, they do, Chicanos do use the term uh wetback a lot.
Oh yeah, they
And
use
they
it
use,
freely. As a person growing up
yeah,
in Cali and you growing up in Texas, like a majority, like Mexico borders both of our states, and
yeah,
so
yeah.
like we get the influx of people coming up
Well,
from
see,
Mexico.
Mexico doesn't necessarily border Texas. Fuck, Texas is Mexico.
Well, I mean,
And
California is technically Mexico too. If we want to, I mean, every name in California, it's not Hispanic for not a reason. You know what I mean? San
so
Francisco, that is not a white man's name.
so with that being said, you look at the way that the Chicanos are in Texas. They will lock a Mexican from across the fucking wall, across the border. They will lock their asses up so fast. They lock them up quicker than us, and then we're next
Yeah.
for
So it's
whatever
like
reason.
house niggas versus field niggas. It's like
Yes. So
the house folk is the Latinos that have
they're
been
doing what
here.
they have to please massa. That's what it
Yes.
is. The Chicanos. Now, again, when I say this, I'm not speaking on actual Mexicans from Mexico, because a lot of them are very hardworking. Come over, mind they fucking business. You know, it is what it is. But a lot of the Chicanos that are in the state of Texas do not like their own, and
In California
it,
as well.
but
They're the
it's
ones
the same.
working border patrol. They're the ones the
So
worst.
they have the same issue that Africans have with African Americans. The
Yes.
difference is it's the Africans that don't like the African Americans versus it's the Mexican Americans that don't like the Mexicans. You get what I'm saying? And it's all fucked up. And when you look at the voting system, it was not predominantly whites. It was not predominantly blacks. It was predominantly Hispanics that wanted the wall built. It was
Yes.
predominantly Hispanics that wanted Hispanics sent back across the border. You understand what I'm saying?
It
And
was
that's the myth in a
predominantly
lot.
Hispanics that put your man in office.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, well,
don't come crying to me now.
Donnie's gonna
Now
win
that the
again.
wall being built and you may get caught on
Donnie's
the other
gonna win
side.
again. Y'all get ready for it. Donnie's gonna win again. I'm just, y'all remember I said this shit.
Oh
But
yeah, oh
yeah,
yeah.
but you know, and I want y'all to think about this when we talk about the difference in race and shit. If we're being honest, black people don't want to deal with niggas
At all.
at all.
At all.
And it still is because of a stereotype. You understand? You got white people and you got white trash. You got Hispanics and you got spics. You got black folks and you got niggas. You understand what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
got Asians and you got Yangs. Every culture has its fucked up
Segment
part of
of
their
the population.
society. There's no such thing as a race, because there's only four races, right? And y'all do know Hispanic is not a race for any of y'all that it's clear that shit up. Or what is it? Three races, which is black, Asian, and
Caucasian.
white,
Yeah.
Caucasian. Hispanic is not a race. It's too many different variables and mixes and so forth and so forth and so forth. So let's, for y'all that didn't go to school.
So you
Clear that
one
up.
of the three, no matter what you do. You one of the three.
Yes, you are one of the three, no matter what. No matter what you do,
You one of the three.
you fall somewhere in there. And it's fucked up because, you know, nobody says it. White people, they can't stand white trash.
Oh God, no.
That motherfuckers ain't ready for that conversation. Caucasians, I'm sorry. Caucasians don't like white trash. Trailer park motherfuckers, no, they won't, no
They don't fuck with
association.
them. Yeah.
No.
Cause they scared they gonna jack their car just as quickly as a black or a Latino. Shit. They nervous
Mess
riding to that
with shit.
neighborhood too. See, and the thing about, and the funny part about Caucasians, right, is they're nervous riding through neighborhoods of their own. With most black folk, I'll ride through my neighborhood. I give a fuck.
Oh yeah, I write through my own shit. No, they don't.
I'll ride through my
Yeah.
own neighborhood because I can speak of the language on some level, right? But
Yeah.
like for like Caucasians, nah, they don't speak PWT. They do not speak po white trash.
Absolutely not.
So look, let's jump into some of these comments because we had a bunch of them come up. Okay, so this is when we were talking about the question that you asked. They do 200 years because of the appeal process. It's too hard to take back 200 years versus 40. That makes sense.
Okay.
Thanks, established. All right, I served 10 years at the age of 14 to 24 for shooting a white woman, not murder, but seen over 300 murder commitments go home in my 10 years mass incarceration at the finest. You know, that's some bullshit, Frank.
Damn. Wait, can you
I am
read
so
that
sorry that you did that. Yeah, Frank says.
I want, yeah, somebody read Frank's shit again. So, because this is exactly what we're talking about.
Facts,
this type of shit.
So Frank Lewis, the Ya baby, says, I served 10 years at the age of 14 to 24 for shooting a white woman. Not murder, but seen over 300 murder commitments go home in my 10 years. Mass incarceration at its finest. Facts. Because when Caucasian people do the same crime, they get less time. And we need to be clear about this. When you guys are out there voting and putting people in office, we need to pay attention to who we're looking at for sheriffs. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but you need to know what that sheriff is about and what that sheriff and how that sheriff operates. And if it's the same bullshit, put somebody new in that mug. It doesn't hurt you to try the new guy. It really doesn't, especially if you're under oppression. So yeah, we got to be cautious about these judges. We got to, when they're voting for Supreme Court judges, we got to pay attention to this type of shit because shit like this happens. And I am very sorry that happened to you, Frank. That's some bullshit. He says, bingo, cultural bias is the biggest problem in the criminal justice system. And I agree.
Absolutely.
King Payne.
Absolutely.
Hey, baby, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Drunk drivers, sex offenders, and political manipulators deserve the death penalty. Speak, Frank. And we saw that already. All right, Frank says the Mexican cops are the worst. Whew, honey. And they're worse when dealing with black people too. Let's keep it a buck. Black cops are bad with Mexicans. Mexican cops are bad with us. I mean, we just yeah. It's like, you know, you're one step from below and you want to put your foot on my neck. All right, wait a minute.
Go back one.
I got to go back a lot. Hold up. All right. So this is me getting pulled over dirty, and it always works. This was a black cop and a white cop in Vegas. Yeah. And usually the black cop has his foot on your neck. Hey, Mac. Thanks for joining us. Salute to the panel. Hey, Frank, talking about Bushville. Hey. And what these freak names is. I don't know what that means, Mac. But I'm Malika, and that's Dutch Skywalker. I believe it's not freaks, but Queen's little homie. Thank you, Frank.
Really appreciate it. I would hate to have to read you on. I don't want to read you on here, Bill.
Hey,
nice.
Do you mind reading Established? And I'm gonna give you a couple to read.
Yeah, I used to live in Corpus Christi, Texas. It's different. Boy, listen. Texas is different. I guarantee anybody. So Texas is not the only southern region that I was raised in. I was raised in the Texas and Louisiana region. So I was raised in both of those regions. And let me tell you, Louisiana is a little bit different. The white folks there don't like you.
They don't.
They don't. They can't stand my black ass. Again, it doesn't matter what my last name is. My heritage is of African descent. They don't like my black ass. They don't give a fuck how yellow I am. They don't care. Louisiana's a different fucking beast. Texas, the white boys there will call you a nigga and have a Mexican wife. So they're a little funny in Texas. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
They'll do some shit like that. They'll call you some racist shit. And you follow that motherfucker home, and he'll have a fucking black wife or a Mexican wife at his fucking house. No bullshit.
Oh yeah,
Louisiana's a little bit different,
but they won't let their friends know that.
No, hell no. No, no, they ain't. Nah, I ain't finna do that shit. So let's see. What did
Frank
y'all
from the
baby say?
Caribbean.
I feel it. My mom's is PR. Pops is Jamaican. It works in my favor. Okay, so now you starting to talk my language. Yeah,
Ah,
that.
only thing I got is the St. Lucian going for me, but that's cool. My mom's from the Bronx.
Hey, shout out to the Bronx.
Shout out to the
But
Bronx.
yeah, it's fucked up out here. I got a lot of shit as a kid being bicultural.
Yeah.
You know, and I wasn't black enough to hang out with the black girls. I was too light skinned. See, I'm darker here because I'm in Hawaii, but I was not by a whole lot, but enough noticeable difference.
But you know what? That's
Um,
like that all over the South, if I'm being honest. Because when I moved to Memphis, like the
yeah.
dark skinned chicks hated me. They
Oh
just
yeah.
hated me.
So I
And I
couldn't
was
hang
like, I
out.
don't even know you people.
Well, see, and I couldn't hang out with the Mexicans because they knew like you speak Spanish, but
It ain't my dialect.
you don't
Yeah.
you don't look like us either. You know what I mean?
You ain't making
So
no
it's one of
tamales. What you mean?
yeah. Nah, we making empanadillas. We not making tamales over here.
Hmm.
So that was another thing was like so I didn't fit into the Mexican culture. Um because that's a different type of Hispanic. You understand? And
Oh,
then we
you was
have the
just
white
asked
people.
out.
Yeah, I was asked out completely. And then, obviously shit hanging out with white people was that just wasn't, being in Texas because I didn't fit in any of that bracket whatsoever.
Oh no, no,
You look black and you speak that guala guala shit is what they, and I heard that a lot. I didn't know what the fuck
they
guala
say
guala
guala
was.
in real life though. I've heard
You know,
guala
sometimes I
guala.
heard that
I
shit going on.
be
You over there
laughing
speaking that
at it.
guala guala shit, so I didn't fit. It's fucked up.
He said
My
guala.
childhood was fucked up.
Wow. I'm offended
I
and I'm
didn't
not
fit
even looking
anywhere. Yeah, so I didn't fit until I had to make myself fit. And I had to create my own space. I had to
Yeah.
create my own space to fit in. You know what I mean? And once I created my own space, then everybody wants to hang out with you and shit. Oh, what's that shit you speak? It's kind of fly. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
White
Facts.
girls want to
Facts.
come, oh, your hair, let me touch it. Shit kind of changes once you find your own fucking space. But now I don't want y'all in my space now. But
Yeah.
it's typical shit growing up. Culturally, it's all fucked up. And we have Frankie says, this is how I feel when Vegas has slavery on the ballots up
We
for
need to
vote.
talk about that, Frank. I need to do some research on that. We may be
Frank,
covering that for another show.
write that shit down. You
Yeah,
were
because
reading
that's
my mind.
crazy, Frank.
That is a
Yeah.
conversation that does need to be had. Yeah. Vegas is shady as fuck. I didn't think a lot of people know how shady Las Vegas is. They got
Let's
a lot
talk
of
about the
underlying
whole state of
shit there with their
Nevada.
cops. I haven't been to too many places. I've been to Reno, but that
Yeah.
was late at night,
Well, I
and I didn't
mean,
have
yeah,
any issues in
I mean,
Reno.
just driving through Vegas from Cali to get to Vegas, a little nervous.
Las Vegas,
Them desert
I didn't
towns kind of
experience
scary.
anything. I didn't experience anything per se myself, but one of my very, very, very close friends who is Italian and Filipino, who I don't think she knows she's Italian and Filipino
Oh
because
shit.
she's been raised with black culture her whole life. Like her
Okay.
whole entire, there's some people that are literally raised with the culture, so they don't understand. Like,
That they're not part of the culture. I mean, they are, but they're
no, she's part of the culture definitely because her whole life. This is not like I just popped up at 14, 15 since she was a 2-year old baby. She's been
yeah.
raised with nothing but black culture.
Mm.
So by nature, she's
But
only
wait, she
attracted.
don't know that she doesn't know she's Filipino and what?
No, she's fully aware. She's a dual
Okay.
citizen, so she's an Italian and American citizen. She's dual. Her parents were military. Her dad was from the Philippines. Now the Philippines experienced the same kind of racism, 400 years of oppression, and they were called black monkeys, brown monkeys, and all types of shit, racial slurs. So the Philippines is a whole other situation. So and she's not from the mainland of Italy. She's off the coast on Sardinia. So she's an actual dark Italian with the olive colored skin, the dark eyes, the dark hair. Mainland Italians look very, very different, especially in the northern. They're blonde and they're mixed with Swiss and all types of other shit. Well, anyway, her being raised with black culture, her stepdad was black.
Okay.
Um, and he
I
moved
was
back
gonna
to Italy.
ask, where's the black come in? But okay,
Well,
stepdad.
because what her mom left her father, remarried a black man when she was 2. and they're still together. Now my friend is like 40 something now. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so they didn't go, they went to the barbecues on the other side of the family her whole life. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So much in fact that Vicky is built like us, you know, and
Okay.
when I say I'm curvature, yeah. Um,
Okay.
so it's for her, it's not a I'm trying to sound or I'm trying, that's all she knows,
That's just what
right?
she is. Yeah, she is who she is.
So when she moved
But
to
is
Las
there a
Vegas,
such thing as sounding black?
no, I don't think there's a
I don't
such
think
thing.
so.
I
Okay.
think the sounding black and sounding white is insulting. Because if you tell me that I sound black, then that's perpetuating that we have a specific vernacular or verbiage that we use. If you
Yeah.
say that I sound white, and most people attribute sounding white to speaking proper, that shit will offend me because that attributes that only white people speak with a proper vernacular or with proper verbiage. So I don't. What I do think that you can sound ethnic. I do think, and when I say ethnic, I mean like you've been around a certain type of culture. You've been around the culture because there's a
Okay.
lot of white kids that listen to rap music and they sound like they've been around the culture. So I won't say black. I don't think that's appropriate. But I think culturally, um, there is a hip hop culture. There is
Yeah.
a rap culture. There is an R&B culture. There is a hood culture. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I
you
was
sound like
thinking
a
the same established. I was like, damn, she used to have that. I was thinking the same, and,
Hey,
and,
listen,
and
my
I'm
girl
strictly
Vicky.
English, but I damn
I
sure was
love
thinking,
my
God damn,
listen,
I
my
want to
girl
see that
Vicky.
card.
Vicky. So Vicky's she's Italian and Filipino. So she's not very tall, but Vicky, again, you raised around our culture. So Vicky grew up on cornbread, red beans, and rice. Her stepfather is from fuck, is he from Arkansas or Memphis or some shit like that?
Oh shit!
So,
If he's from Memphis, then he definitely can cook. I know that for a fact.
oh
My
no,
step.
no. So I've had cooking when we were stationed in Italy. So he's like Al.
Okay, all right.
He's
Why you gonna
that
throw Al
down
out?
home.
You threw Al out there.
Yeah, but that's a down
But
home.
I understand. He reminds you of Al.
Yeah,
Okay.
like no matter how long he's been away from home, he didn't lose any of his
His
blackness,
southern.
any of his southern anything. He moved to a whole nother country and still remained exactly the same black man. I'm assuming that he was from back in the day, because that even the mom, she speaks a certain way. She has a little bit of soul when she speaks. You know what I'm saying? Okay, no, a
Gotcha.
lot of soul when she speaks. So when she talks, you don't even realize unless you off the phone, unless you're in person with her and you're looking at her, can you guess what culture she's from? Until she starts speaking Italian. Her
Mm.
family. Now I've met my one of my very close friends, Vicky's family. They
She almost
loved
fucked
us.
up. Y'all saw that? She almost fucked up. Keep going.
You got mad at me last time I said it. You got mad at me last time, so I had
I
to,
won't be mad. You can have more than
you
one
know.
of us.
Oh, so y'all, Vicky's my other best friend. We use that lightly. So,
Very
but
lightly.
yes. So I met her family. Her family was very embracing of black people, black culture. It was so super dope. So when she moves to Vegas, make a long story short, Vicky moves to Vegas, moves with a boyfriend, and I start getting calls, and she's like, "Man, it's so fucking racist out here," and I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself like,
Wait, where she moved to?
Las Vegas. She moved to Las Vegas,
Oh
and
yeah.
she started experiencing with her boyfriend, whom now she's been with for over 10 years. He's dark, he's a very dark skinned dude, and she was like, all she's had is multiple issues with cops, behind it. And she said at first it used to be like, oh, she would come outside, or if they got pulled over, she would say anything, and they would kind of back off if they got like an Italian cop, because there's a lot of Italians in Vegas. And I think what's happened is she sounds too much like, culturally, she sounds like she's part of the culture, and that's starting to hinder her.
Mm.
That's starting to hinder her because now she's been labeled as one of us. You understand?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Welcome to the
Yeah. So
racism, honey. Welcome.
yeah, yeah. So,
Welcome. So look,
but
we've got a few minutes left. So I
yeah,
mean, we've had a great conversation. I mean, but I do want to jump into some of these topics, and I need to jump on some of
yeah,
these
yeah, yeah.
comments.
Let's do
So
that.
Frank Lewis, the Y'all Baby says, swear I'm that Negro trying to show our folks that it's cool. Gang member, it's cool to like gang members like yourself. I'm sure, man. I'm sure. You seem like a friendly dude. You seem like you're very approachable. Yeah. Yeah. Self-hate lynch theory 101. Facts. Facts. Yeah, yeah.
Shit.
And then thank you, Queen. Abdul Brandon Ty Bay. Hey, thanks for joining us this evening.
What
Peace
else,
to you
Ty?
too. Frank Lewis, the baby. Yeah, I'm just gonna call you Frank, bro. I'm just gonna call you Frank because I'm getting tongue twisted. I believe if Trump is cheated again, Arizona Cardinals and the Nevadas will become one state under Trump. If he's cheated, yeah,
Texas
yeah.
too. You better add add Texas to that shit, bro.
I mean,
I
you can
agree.
add half the South, man. They're gonna defect from the union. And
Yeah.
that's the fact from what she's saying about Texas. Hey, DeRains, thanks for joining us.
Hey.
Google Nevada Constitution. It'll scare you what's happening here now. I'll check it out.
I already know
Ebonics.
what's in
Yeah,
there.
that's exactly the language that we speak. YouTube, BET, IG need more queens like you. I have accomplished much by queen support. Hey, man, that's
Oh,
what's up.
thank you. Thank you.
Oh, YA stands for Youth Authority.
Youth
Okay, got you. All right.
authority.
Frank
I
Lewis, the Youth
I
Authority, baby. I got it. I got it. All right. That's what's
I
up, man. Okay, so before we let you guys go, because we got like 4 minutes left, LL Cool J is supposed to have an illegitimate son out there. I guess we'll be waiting for more news on that. There's a paternity test out. We shall see. And Kroger is talking about pulling Snoop Dogg from that Cali red wine. So I guess a lot of NAACP people have complained, and people have
why?
complained. They say it's offensive. The Cali
Why?
Red, I don't Cali Red. I guess because it's associated. You think Cali Red, you think blood. Snoop was actually a Crip. I don't know why it really makes a fucking big deal. I like the wine. I like the thing that the whole label does. Hey, you guys, that's a live label. So if you ever do buy that wine, download the live label, and Snoop will probably talk some shit to you. And that, yeah.
And they want to take him off?
Huh? And they want to take him out of Kroger. Kroger's getting rid of him.
Kroger's also always been a little,
Yeah, Kroger's been on some bullshit. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Established. Great show. Martha for president, Snoop for VP. Watch. That would be fucking interesting, wouldn't it?
I don't know if I want Martha president though. She could do VP. I'll let her do VP, dog.
Let Snoop be president, man. That way we can legalize the cannabis.
Yeah, let's let Uncle Snoop. I don't mind saying vice or
Snoop
president.
gonna have like barbecues and all types of shit. Snoop gonna have it like Cali. Motherfuckers gonna be riding through on the 6-4s. The presidential limo's gonna be a 6-4 Impala. With names. All right, let me stop.
That ain't all bad. It ain't all bad.
This is gonna be flying in the
Just give us 4 years.
And it's gonna have the hydraulics.
Give us 4 years. Yeah, man. Shit.
All right. You got any closing thoughts for us, ma'am?
Nope. You guys catch the rest of you want to see me and Nia still, catch us after this in a few minutes on Ask a Virgo. We'll be over there talking some other bullshit you guys might want or might not want to hear, but join us anyway. Yes. After we log out of this, we will be moving over there.
Well, give us till about 9:30. About 9:30, or you think 9:15?
About 9:15.
9:15. 9:15. See us in a few. All right, guys. Love you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. And until next week, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace out,
guys.